Hey YouTube, I'm Brick Smith and welcome to Forever Sorting with Old Gray Bricks Fazoom himself.
Hey everybody, good to see you. How you doing, man?
Welcome to episode 3 of the mini-series that is Chris. So far, I've really enjoyed it, and we've had people call out and say how much they're really enjoying it.
That's cool.
Specifically, Kevin Hinkle.
Oh, man. So you're saying Bo and Luke Duke are in negotiations to come back, and Coy and Vance, which is me, are headed out. Is that what you're saying?
You know,
if you think 2020 is bad, viewers, me and Brick Smith know the year that Bo and Luke Duke got taken off the show and they put Coy and Vance in. That was a bad year. Okay, just remember when the fake Dukes of Hazzards were in.
I was little, and I said to my mommy, I said, "What happened to Bo and Luke? Who are they?"
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough times. We made it through though.
Here's a fun fact, Chris.
Yes.
Happy anniversary to Forever Sorting.
Oh, is that right? Wow.
This is the tomorrow is the 18th. The official air date for the original episode 1 was July 22nd, 2018.
Wow, that's awesome, dude.
2 years old.
Huh? Wow. Well, happy birthday, anniversary thing.
Good job, Kev. Oh, wait, Kevin's not.
Okay.
Kevin had to take a vacation.
Which is where I'm headed tomorrow. But anyway, go ahead.
Woo! Nice. Speaking of folks, vacation, the next episode of Forever Sorting will be not next Saturday, but next Monday morning. Sorry, while you're sitting at home working in your underwear, you have to put it on then. Sorry, you can't have it with your breakfast cereal. Strawbricks, you know who I'm talking to.
These are uncomfortable mental pictures, but please continue.
Right? Strawbricks got to have a cereal. He Saturday morning he'll have a bowl of cereal eating, watching Forever Sorting. I see you, Keith. No. Anyway. But there. Okay. Yeah, there. The rest of the time belongs to Chris. Let's
make it more awkward.
Ever. What?
Let's make it more awkward.
Yeah. I'm just saying that Kevin, it would take me and Kevin 30 minutes to get done with an intro. Look at there. Less than 3 minutes. Let's go. So, I don't remember where we left off, nor do I ever.
Well, I remember because I made sure to remember a name. The name of Paul Smith Meyer from Lego.
Coming back to me.
Met that guy. So just to recap, for those of you who might be joining us, I'm a Lego fan for 42 years. 42 of my 49 years of existence have been involved in Lego. Do what?
I said that's killer. I wish I could. I think I would have been frustrated at certain times and just thrown it away because I don't think I had the fortitude to have hung in there for that long. Now
there were times, I'm gonna tell
you. As a seasoned adult now with 8 years of AFOL under my belt, I'm not going anywhere. I know the brand is excellent, and people are going to do dumb stuff, but my brand, my parts will always be quality, except for the reddish brown.
That's right. Exactly right.
Do better, Lego.
Yeah, for real. So 42 years doing the Lego brick. I've not been had this many bricks in my possession, for all of those years. And college was building on the weekends when I could get home. Moving into adulthood where you've got a job and some income, and I did graduate school and stuff, finding Lego deals, buying all that kind of stuff. And just the passion to build what you wanted to build as a kid, you actually can do it now because you can get the bricks and everything. And for me, in those days, in the late 90s, early 2000s, suddenly you realize there's a Lego community out there. It was budding and growing at the time. Started even in the late 80s, early 90s, really on Rec Toys Lego, which is you could get to through FTP and all that kind of stuff back in the old days. Then LugNet came about, and that was the first real web-based presence for fans of the brick to get together. And
aren't you still friends with people that you met on Lugnet?
I am still friends with them. In fact, in our live chat last night, two of those friends, Mark Sandlin is one of them, but another couple of guys, Adrian Drake, who builds, like, his name is Brick Frenzy, has a website, Brick Frenzy. He builds monstrous, awesome stuff, and he's always kind of been he was the over the top guy of our day, and he still builds and he still does great. He built one of his most famous models. He built Serenity from Firefly to scale to minifigs, and
if you're a nerd, you know exactly what that is.
Yeah,
you have to be a Firefly fan.
That made all the nerd websites and all that kind of stuff, and he builds great. My friend, his name is Greg Shaw, but we started calling him Gil because we misread what his signature was on Lugnet, right? And so he just became Gil. And Gil he's my hoser buddy from Canada, and he was in last night. And the last time I've actually been face to face with those guys was 14 years ago almost. And I think Adrian came to some other things, but I haven't seen those guys in a long time. Mark Sandlin, who lives here in Atlanta now, used to live in Seattle in those days. And yeah, in fact, we were just texting back and forth just a little while ago and doing Discord on the Discord thing. So yeah, those are friendships that are getting long in the tooth, man.
Man.
They're older than my kid and all this kind of stuff.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Tyler and Amy had their baby, announced it. His name is Timothy, which is awesome.
Nice.
And then I was depressed because when his kid is the age of my kid, I will be 65 years old, and I'm quite depressed. So, you gotta enjoy those years while you can, right?
Yeah, man.
So,
they disappear fast.
That's right. But I swapped texts with him, just telling him congrats, and they're super excited to have that little one in their life and everything.
Now, you're talking about Tyler and Amy of Lego Masters winning championship fame.
Yes, that's correct. Who lives in your great state, by the way. So, but anyway, so congratulations to them. That's awesome. And you got to think of the Lego power in that kid's DNA. I mean, so anyway, but those friendships have lasted a long time. And even though we communicated online back in those days through message boards, meeting up with them once a year at Brick Fair, Virginia. Brick Fest, Virginia, the old Brick Fest back in the day, 2002, 3, 4, up through 2006. That was a big deal. And so it kind of seemed like the 2005 and 2006 were when it seemed like some kind of the golden days, right? Because all of a sudden Lego shows up. The big men themselves. Let me see if I can pull this up here. I got some pictures from those days. Let me pull this up here. There we go. The man himself was there. Okay. Mr. Christensen himself. And at the time, the new guy, Jürgen, was there. Von Kudsnorp, or however you say his name. I butchered.
No, these are. When is this? Where is this?
This is at Brick Fest, Virginia, 2005. Wow. Okay. So this is where Lego has already scraped bottom or are coming back, right?
So this is the owner, son, and the president, right?
Yeah, that's the owner's son right there, who was just a cool guy. And this is the new guy coming in that took over for him. Let me flip through some of these pictures here. I didn't build that, but it's awesome.
Sexy, though.
There we go. That's us. All right. And in this picture right here, that's Mark Sandlin, a very svelte young Mark Sandlin.
Yeah. Wow.
There is the CEO of Lego. He's touching me too, but he likes Mark better seeing me. Anyway, There's me, who was a lot more shorter and rounder, I guess, than I am today. I still have that shirt, by the way, both of them. And that's Adrian Drake right there. And then that's Brom and everything. Nice. And Jürgen, he's generally our age. He's just a couple years older than me. And oops, let me go back here.
Oh, you broke it.
I broke it. I broke. Wouldn't be the first time. But some awesome things happened when these guys came. Eric Varsegi, who is a designer, master builder up in Connecticut, he came and he brought stuff. So he built things which we thought was amazing. He bought all these kind of things. That's one of my dudes about to get eaten by a monster right there. So great, such a cool building. This is early days, right? So they came and not only did they come and hang out with us, they participated with us, right? And made these super cool monsters, some other stuff in the space room.
Wait, go back to that one. That was two of the. Sorry, but I'm looking at the basilisks up there. That's just basilisk parts, man.
Yeah, well, that's when that set came out.
Look at them now.
That's probably for Harry Potter fans. That's probably what? That's like $60 a part right there.
No, one snake is like 60.
Yeah, that's crazy. But anyway, yeah, that's Dan Rubin.
Wait, can I just see wait, go back to what's on that kid?
That's just a kid. I think his name is Chappie. He's got a Fleabnork shirt on and everything. And there to the left of the screen there's some of my mocks right there from those days and everything.
If you haven't figured out what a Fleabnork is, join Fazoom on Olgay Bricks over on his channel on Thursday nights.
That's right. You'll find what Fleabnorks are.
Yeah,
and if you're nice, maybe you'll get one when somebody's mock crashed. I don't know. I took a picture, but so this is in the day, man, when this is also the public started coming to stuff, and when they came to Brick Fair and Brick Fest, and that was unusual for us, but it was cool. It helped them to pay the bills. There I am shaking the man's hand. Look at that.
You look like a kid in a candy store.
I look like I got a bee sting is what I got. So. But that's some of that August sweat going on there
you don't think I know what that is.
But this is one of my favorite pictures ever, right?
Right.
I don't know who this kid is. I don't know who this mom is, but this kid, I remember hearing the conversation. He didn't know who this was that he was talking to, and was talking to him about the bricks, right? And when he found out, it was like, dude, this is the dude, right?
Right.
This is the maker, buddy. And he couldn't have been nicer to that kid and to everybody he met. It's just such a genuine guy, right? And it was so great. So, that's my big spaceship there, people looking at it. We were in, and this is the moon base we had back in those days. This is at George Mason University, where Brick Fests, all but one of them were held outside of DC. Super cool stuff. And and this was Big Dog Public Day too. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't look like a huge crowd compared to what we have now.
But still,
this is Big Dog.
I can't get past the fact that the kids can be able to touch stuff.
Yeah, well, sort of. But anyway, here's a cool thing, and this is a cool, quick side note. This is me starting from the left of the screen. That's me with the bad reaction to the bee sting, right? There's a guy named Nick there beside me. What super funny guy. Adrian in the back. That's Dan, who they're still active in Wamalug up in DC, and they still go to Brick Fair, Virginia. Okay. And then Mark and Brom's one of the smartest humans I met. These two kids right here, the one in the yellow shirt, his name was Alexander, and he would come see us every year. Mark especially spent some time talking to him about space stuff. He's a big Lego fan, and I think it was in 2011, it was like 6 or 7 years after this. Mm-hmm. Teenage version of that kid, he comes walking back in to come find us to talk to us, to thank us for inspiring him and all that kind of stuff.
That's amazing.
Oh yeah, that's super cool. So yeah, there's some of the stuff that I built there. But those were good days. But the guy that I'm talking about, I'm trying to get to, there he is, Paul Smith Meyer, came to the company just as they were making trying to make some changes there. Here's a cool deal. That little box there beside him, beside the spaceship, which is my spaceship, by the way.
Yeah.
Is a set that I created called the Slam Kit, and it made this little spaceship, the Slam. I don't have one on me handy to show, but I gave him one. Right, I'm not going to make him buy one.
Right.
I lost my rear end trying to make those back in the day, because Bricklink wasn't as big a deal. It was hard to get parts, but that guy came and he sat down and with us, and he started to say, hey, I want to talk to you guys. I want to get to know you guys. And he said to me and Mark, he says, I like your stuff. I like that you have consistent colors and style and stuff. And he started making a lot of changes in the team of where Lego was to where Lego really started heading back positive, back to making good stuff, not stuff that kids can build fast. That was the philosophy, and brought back some skill back into building, good design thought back into building. But he sat down and said, hey, I want to pick y'all's brain. I want you guys to feel like we can maybe pour into you and get to know you, and get some ideas from you. Now at the time, sometimes Kevin goes, yeah, they're just trying to tap you for free stuff. And I get that. And I can, in retrospect, I can see some of that, now.
Yeah.
But
Kevin says a lot of things, but he's not here right now.
But he's right. But on the flip side of that, it's like this dude gets a paycheck from Lego and he's in charge of the sets. And I think he was in charge of the color change, but I don't hold that against him. Although I was mad about that. And
I still, coming again, I hate to go on a tangent here, but I came in 2012. I don't see the true point of it. I don't like it.
Wait, the change or how?
Yeah, the change. I am against the color change. I'm sitting here trying to part together old sets, and I'm like, these 42-year-old cataract having repaired eyes are going, is that light bluish gray or is that glass gray, light gray? I can't tell. Now, the dark bluish gray and the old gray, that you can tell the difference, but it just pisses me off. And they had no right to do it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You should have had 2 more gray colors in if that's what you wanted to do.
That's true. Well, I will say this. In the day when that came out, and of course, then I'm a 25, 30-year-old, investment into Lego hobby. It's like, dude, you're making me, all this brick is now out of whatever. And we did make a big stink about it. And we made much more of a stink about it. That, we were just being a little bit spoiled brat, fanboys a little bit, but there was all this move to include the community, and then they're changing the colors of gray and brown. We always joke they changed white too, but they didn't. But it's just funny. That's new white, not old white. But yeah, and those were, the dark gray was a drastic change. Now I can almost just put both light grays into something and kind of go, it makes it look aged, all that kind of stuff. But I will say, 25 years since that time, I like the new gray better.
Okay.
All right. You hear me? I'm all about old gray bricks. I love old gray bricks. This is confession time.
Oof.
They were right. The new gray looks better in display cases. It looks better on mocks and stuff like that. Old gray was, I love it. I really do.
Yeah.
But it does look dingy compared to the other one because it's a warmer gray. The new one is a bluish gray. And I would not mind if through Bricklink they just started calling new gray and use the old as old gray. Just let it be that way.
Yeah.
But I get it, and it mixes better with certain colors, and I'm totally on board with it. In fact, I love the new orangey yellow with the new dark gray. Looks great. So it's great colors together, all kind of stuff. So, but I have 30 years with the old gray. I've got 10, 15 with the new one, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, but at the time, it was a major deal because, hey, all of a sudden, you're just throwing out nothing. I'm going to get matches. None of these new parts are going to match. All that kind of stuff. Yeah. And Lego itself, especially the community manager Jake McKee at that time, and then Steve Witt after. They heard a lot from us about it. But even Jake would say, look, it happened way too fast for me to do something and let you guys know it was coming. And so, I mean, I can remember we were talking about Joe Mino a little while earlier. His was the first to go, hey, I bought this set and the grays are wrong. I remember that post on Lugnet, right? And then there were people who bought the Star Destroyer, the first one, and the grays were mixed in there. I mean, just hellfire and brimstone, all that kind of stuff. So, but it's all settled out now. And I mean,
is it?
No, yeah, it is. It is. It is for a display and a design purpose that new gray shines.
I still think they just should have added the new ones in.
Yeah, then it would have been really hard to design. Anyway, it's fine. 15 years later, I'm not bitter anymore. But the dark grays, they're just like night and day. They're the one looks rusty, one looks shiny. So that's all right.
I have not ever mistaken one for the other. I have with the light gray.
I will say this: one of the coolest things that ever happened with the color change is the guy I mentioned, Eric Barsegi, works in infield as a master model builder. Still working there. He's a neat guy. Got to meet him and hang out with him. He had to make a Batman statue, which I think it still goes around. And what he did was Batman was standing on the corner of a building, a brick building. Mm-hmm. And so what he did is he gathered up the last of the old brown and the new brown. And so he made every other brick the different browns.
Oh, wow.
And visually you don't see it at first, but your brain picks up on the cue that, there's variation in the color and it makes it even look even awesomer. And I don't know if that's a word, but I used it. So it's really cool.
Okay. Here you can.
So no, it was great. So yeah. So when Paul Smith-Meyer met us, and that almost then we had a connection, not just to the community manager, we had even connection into the design team, the designers, and all that kind of stuff. And so there was some connection now. And then by that time, Jake McKee had already left, and Steve Witt was now the community manager, and he was kind of one of us, young guy coming in. And so he was buds with us too. So, and with others and everything. And there were a lot of people, and I think Kevin addressed this, that, Lego had to learn to spread the love out to more fans because they were definitely focusing on some fans, and not others. Now, we followed some personal rules I've learned from my boss and my pastor is show up, be on time, don't complain, don't mooch for free stuff, do your job. You know what I'm saying? That is just rules for life. Yep. And it's easy for a company who doesn't trust fans and doesn't know how to handle adults to find some adults who kind of follow those rules. They're not in there to mooch, right? Yeah. And with building some good relationships through Brickfest and stuff like that with these folks, we were not seen as moochers. We were seen as people passionate about it, so they could trust us to start bouncing stuff off of us. Now I'll tell you the coolest thing. A few months later, after we had Brickfest 05, First Lego League was starting up, and they were doing their World Championships in Atlanta. Which was great. So kind of had the idea and tried to approach Lego to say, hey, could we do an event called Brick South, and let's try to tag on an adult convention with us in this huge space you've got downtown Atlanta, and talking to Steve Witt and everything. And basically they just kind of got us some tables and all this kind of stuff. And so the first year that happened, we basically set up in a hallway outside, a big hallway. And we were more popular than some of the robotics going on. And First Lego League, and there's First, which is the major organization. First hated that because they were supposed to be there to see the robots, and they were out looking at us and all that kind of stuff. So we got dumped the next year, but then we got added back in. Then it faded. But Jurgen came to that. Jurgen von Kirchstorp came. He came walking down the hall. And remember this. I had my flip phone in my hand, on my pocket. Okay, this was high tech, right? And he came up to me and he poked me on the shoulder and he says, "Hello, Chris." He remembered my name, dude.
No, he had a guy.
Oh, yeah.
He had a guy.
Yeah, he remembered my name. Now, he may have had an assistant. Who's that guy? Look him up real quick. I don't care. But he called me by name and I talked to him.
That's awesome.
At Brick Fair before, I got there early on a Sunday morning and he was there wandering around. And so we spent like 30 minutes just talking brick and life. He had kids. Mine was, on the way, or no, Jake was born. He was 3 months old by then, something like that. Wow. And so he's just a regular dude with like super business sense. So he remembered my name and I'm all playing it cool, right? And then he walks off and I go outside and I get that flip phone out and I call my wife. He remembered my name. And I'm all big girl in the phone to my wife, right? Going, "The president of Lego remembered my name." She's like, "Are you dying? Are you okay? Is somebody shooting you?" And I'm like, no. Oh, so it was so awesome and everything. So we built trusted relationship with Lego. And so then things began to progress and Lego was trying to do new programs with interacting fans. They did the My Own Train things with fans where the first crocodile train, I think, came from, I believe in that, and some train sets designed by some fans. And then there was then Cafe Corner kind of came out around then. This is years on down. They all mushed together. And so then the Street Corner came out, Factory Street Corner set that a lot of people like, a lot of people don't like. And deride kind of as well, this looks like somebody made that. Well, I'll tell you why in just a second. And then they approached us to say, "Hey, let's do a space. We've done train, we've done town. Let's do space. Let's find some space guys." And so they said, "Let's do 2 sets with Mark and Chris. We know them, we trust them. They know they'll work on it and do a good job on it and everything." And so they approached us with that. So it was part of it's because I had a good relationship with Steve Witt, who was the community manager then, was trusted. They already had that relationship built. They didn't want to put the energy into building another to pull somebody else in. Sure. So that's who they approached, and they approached us both and everything. So we got to a point. Let me fill some more. By the time, I'm sorry, there's
doing great, Chris.
Okay, so I got a kid. My kid is born in 2005, right? So that's why he gets called sometimes New Gray, because he was born the same year of New Gray, and I'm Old Gray, right? So I have a kid born. That changes your Lego hobby a big time, especially if you're used to having, like I was, just full reign and plenty of time. All of a sudden you got a kid and you're building during nap time. So between 2005 and the time when our sets are coming out, my actual building is going down. Did
you make it to any shows during that time? I hate to interrupt, but
no. We went to 2005 and 2006. 2006 was the last original Brick Fest in Virginia. They had one more in PDX, or in Portland, which was called Brick Fest PDX, and then it died. I mean, we had this crescendo of Lego showed up, and then Joe Mino actually ran that last one in DC. And it went well. I mean,
Joe Mino, who was
Brick Journal. He does Brick Journal.
Oh,
yeah. He was known as the space paparazzi back then because he always took pictures of all of our stuff and put them online on that brick shelf. And sometimes that Flickr's website.
What?
He hung around with us. But 06 was a different venue. We actually were in a hotel ballroom in the hotel, which is really nice, right? You just kind of stroll in. And it was like everybody from the space community showed up. Oh. Friends, and sometimes there was some friends that I only seen in person that 2006 Brick Fest. And some have even passed on, super good friends, all that kind of stuff, and met then, lifelong friends. And it was exciting to hang out with him. It was exciting to do all that kind of stuff. A guy named John Palmer was there, and that's the last time I've seen him. A lot of that kind of stuff. And it was just like everybody, even Gil, the guy that was on my show the other night, my good friend, he was there. It was the first time. And then stuff started to break down. Communities have their ebb and flow, and for
sure
Classic
do.
Space, for the Classic Space, we went from Lugnet to starting our own forum to have more freedom and ability to be creative and do stuff. And so we started classic-space.com and had our own, bulletin board forum, whatever that stuff was back in those days. And we really began to even grow even more. But I was in charge of a lot of it, being the kind of the director of the thing and not building as much, having to deal with that. It was fun until, then people decide, okay, let's be a jerk and just see what happens. Some people just want to watch the website burn. And me, I want to be a nice guy. I'm hoping when people meet me, they trust me. I will live my life to earn that trust. And you got to know, if we have huge disagreements, I'm going to love you anyway, and care for you anyway, even though I totally disagree with you. And I want to be treated the same way, but that doesn't happen. And so you start having people question your motives. People start questioning all this kind of stuff. And you got people who are like, why are you so cool with Lego and we're not? And you know what? Outside of that, I can see that now. And I hope I was never arrogant about it.
Listen, man, when it comes to people like, why are you so much cool? Why is like, man, just take off. They're just haters. That's all right.
And I hate it.
But a bottle of haterade.
But I don't want to be the one going, "Ha, look at there, I got in," or even going, "Oh, look, I got in. How cool is that?" You should not be jealous of me. I hope I never. I probably did, because I'm human.
No, I do it on purpose. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Look at what I got. So
I've never ever done that.
So between the time that's 2006, and then 2007, Brickfest went away. I mean, the corporation closed. They had, I think 2007 may have been the thing, but it died. And there was actually a skip year and everything. So all of a sudden I'm cut off from friends, except for on the internet. I'm starting to get a little more frustrated with the community I'm in. There's a whole lot of stuff going on. I got a kid who's now, getting to be 2s and 3s, which is a lot of time and a lot of effort.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You have one of those hopefully asleep in your house right now, right?
He might be asleep. He's here.
That's right. You hope.
Fingers crossed.
So, and then we get approached by the set, and you have some of those who are like, oh no, not them again. Some of this other kind of stuff and all that kind of jazz. But so we start working on the set, and I'm kind of thinking, okay, this is the end all be all, man. And you kind of arrived, and you have this Willy Wonka view of how this is gonna go. Mm-hmm.
Just for the new fans, just for the noobs, the fresh fish,
mm-hmm.
the young A falls or the young T falls that may be watching. This was before Lego Ideas and before Kuso.
That's right.
This was the end all beat all.
That's right. Lego had started to do some other. They had the Lego Digital Designer had come out through this time, which in my opinion was a great thing. They just implemented it really, 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 really bad. Okay. Because what you could do is download the program, build virtually, and buy the bricks. Mm-hmm. It would generate instructions kind of poorly, but there was some serious potential in that to do good. And I think later on there was hope that Lego Universe could pick up from that, but they separated all that kind of stuff out. And I don't remember all the years of that. Yeah. But for me personally, it's like I'm hoping that this Lego set thing that Mark and I are going to do is going to continue on. I mean, I was still building, but I wasn't building as well. I was getting a little burnout, but I was still finding clearance and all that kind of stuff.
Still the easiest way. It was easier than Bricklink.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I can't remember if I can remember when the first Batman sets came out. We got invited to go up.
06?
Do what?
06 or 07?
Was that right? Okay.
The
This is
Batman's, not the DC, but the Batman's came out in 06 or 07.
yeah. We actually got invited to come up to Enfield. Steve Witt, us, and a guy named Ace who was on from Bricks to Bothans and was trying to start a Batman because the Batman stuff was coming out, and they were like, okay, so we think there's going to be this giant community that all of a sudden pours in from comic book fans.
Oh,
I guess they had to get out of the basement first, but anyway,
their mom locked them down there.
Mom, I'm going to get some Lego.
Be right back.
So there was this, and so they brought some Lego guys like us to Enfield, flew us up there, which was nice. I left Georgia and it was 50 degrees. I got to Connecticut and it was 4.
That's always
mm-hmm. So they flew us up there, Mark and I, and we met a guy named Ace, a guy from a couple of Batman community websites that were all this kind of stuff. So we could see the Batman sets before they came out, right? And now I will say, walking into Enfield, then was a little Willy Wonka. I'm just going to go ahead and say,
no doubt, ain't nobody.
Because I'd never been to Brick. Because I'd never been to Legoland, and so they have the statues, they have the stuff. So we meet Eric Barsegi there. We meet a lot of folks I don't remember, and they treated us really well, and it was really awesome. And so we got to do that, and we got to see the little hallway where they have all the future products out and all that kind of stuff. They met with us. We got to see the sets, and of course, Mark and I. They showed us the bat thing. They showed us the front, the top of it. We're like, "That's cool. That's cool." They turned it over to the bottom, and they, it's just plates and junk. And I'm like, "Oh, that looks terrible." It's on the bottom. The jet flies over the kids. You should make the bottom have detail, but they didn't do that. So anyway, yeah, that was a cool experience. But we got to go to the infamous Enfield Lego store, and in 2005, 2006, whenever that was, they said you've got a spending limit of $250. I'm like, that's going to be easy. I didn't make it. I mean, they had $20 sets for $3 because they were returned from a store and the cover was ripped off. They had these pick-a-brick bins with rare parts. We had a short amount of time to get it done, but Mark and I bought sets, and we basically took them back to our hotel room and took them out of the boxes and just lined the suitcases with them. And we would have probably gotten, if TSA had existed then, they'd have been pulling us over going, "What are these plastic bags full of in your bag?" I got the Cloud City set for $50, the original, something like that.
Wow.
I never built it. I sold the figs off later.
I don't blame you. I haven't verified it was 2006 when it came out.
Okay, there you go, 2006. So that was when, personally, the Lego hobby was getting bumpy. There was a lot of good stuff happening connected with Lego. And so kind of riding that kind of high. And then, so after that meeting, and you get a feeling that the executives are going to, okay, can we trust these guys to do this project? So they talked to us then about the project. Hey, do you want to be involved? Yeah, there's no to that. So we start getting involved, but the process is very kind of unorganized because they really don't know what they're doing. They're just trying this thing out. And this is, years before the word Kuso came out or whatever. So,
by the way, if you guys want to know, Kuso is what they call ideas now.
That's right. So they said, here's what we want to do. We want you each to create a box, and it's going to have this range of pieces and be this size. And Mark and I were like, well, why don't you do it where there's a smaller box to get kids involved with 2 small spaceships, and then have the big ones as another set. No, that doesn't make any sense.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
You do that in every line that you have in the stores. And of course, this is going to be online and a store exclusive, which the stores were suffering back in those days too.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay. And so they said between 700-800 so pieces and everything. And they said, okay. And then they give us a list of parts available. And they said, pick what you want, and we'll send you a K8 of those parts. Okay, a K8 is a shipping box. It's about that big, about that tall, about that wide. It is a pretty good sized box. And they just say, fill that up. And I'm like, I don't know how much that is. You know what I'm saying? Oh, like my mic over there. Sorry. I don't know how much that is. So we just start ordering parts like crazy, right? Yeah. And not really like crazy, but I need not only need 2 or 3 of those slopes, I need about 20 or 30 of those slopes. So we just pieced together what we had. Now they said, we want you to use your themes that you currently make. And I didn't want to sell what I call pre-classic space to them. I didn't want to give them that name. Mark didn't want to put evil, or has he spelled it with a 3, because that was elite back in those days, right? And funny. He didn't want to give them that name. So I'm like, well, we need to call it something else, and let's make a minor tweak or a change. So I changed the color of the windshields, and he took the chrome silver out of his, which that wasn't available anyway. But so we made some changes. So I would call it Star Justice, just to make it so kids could understand, oh, these are like police good guys. And he would call his Space Skulls, because when we looked at the minifigs available, the only thing he could get were skeleton heads. So he used those. And so then we go to the process. Okay. So there's like, we want you to make a great space set. Okay. Well, here's what great space sets needs. They need astronauts with printing. Oh, you can't have those. People complain about our sets because we had stickers for the torsos. If we didn't have stickers for the torsos, you wouldn't have had space dudes in it. We also said, okay, so we need air tanks for the space dudes. We have yellow because they were in fireman sets, but they weren't in any. I said, can we have any other colors? No. So I'm like, I'm not going to put yellow air tanks on these guys. Nope. So they went out the window. I said, can I use the cool, because it was new, the bracket that goes over the thing and puts a stud on the guy's back? Oh, no, that's not available for you. Okay. So, okay.
Wait a minute. When you build a Lego set with all the Lego in the world, let me tie one hand behind your back.
Exactly. Yeah. The palette was limited. And I mean, it's like, I don't want to pull the bat chutes, but I'm pulling this cord, and this is a knapsack, not a parachute,
Yeah.
So, but we start building, and we had to do, we got those parts in. DHL delivered that K8, and we started making some designs. We were sketching some. Mark and I were talking a little bit, and it was fortunate we lived close to each other, and talking a little bit. And he, with graphic design, he said, I'll do the stickers. So he designed the stickers and the torsos and all that kind of stuff. And the control, well, and that's the other thing. Can we have controls with buttons on them? No, we don't. We don't have any of those for you to use. Not in any colors you want. So we'll make those into stickers. So, okay. I was able to get gray dudes to put a white sticker on, and Mark was able to get black suited guys with red hands, and black helmets and all that kind of stuff. So, we were it was making concessions. Now I know that the designers have to do this too. Okay. It takes some of the magic away. It's all of a sudden you're being bored at that thing where your mom and dad used to take you to mine for gold or jewels out of the thing, and you don't find anything. And even until you find something, that ain't worth nothing. So that's what the process felt like. It's like, so you took that away. So we go, and so I designed mine to be a fleet of spaceships, because I didn't want to do a base. I didn't want to do a ground vehicle. I wanted to do spaceships. So I had a small spaceship, a medium spaceship, and a large spaceship, and some robots and everything, and submitted that. So what we had to do, we had to physically build it. This is all on on our dime and our dole and our time. What we got paid was another K8 and 3 copies each of the set. That was our payment, by the way. There was no cash coming in our pocket. So we built it physically. We put it in LDD, and sometimes them connections wouldn't work. We would have to leave notes going, this should stick here, but your program doesn't get it. and everything. So if you've ever tried to do that, it is a pain in the butt. And then we shipped those to Denmark, the first run. And what we expected was a phone call or two that said, hey, this is a great idea, but have you thought about this? Or here's a new design idea. Because we were told we were going to be given a designer to work with us. And we did. And so we expected a lot of interchange. There was like one phone call on a corporate phone call and an email back. And here's what Mark got. These parts are cut, but you got to change these things. So he had these red panels in the eyeballs, and they became a stack of transparent red plates, right? Mm-hmm. And his took a beating, but mine, they're like, this piece, which is still used today, is now off. These nice long slopes, they're out. The robot bodies from Star Wars that you want to use, they're out. They use those still today, but they had to cut them for some reason. And so your big spaceship is out. So of what I submitted, one spaceship, one speeder made it. And all of a sudden they said, so you're going to need to redesign, and we want you to make a base because that's what we feel space needs. All right. And we want a wheeled vehicle. I hate building wheeled vehicles, right? So they said, can you do that with the parts that you've got? And I said, no. I said, I need a whole nother K8 because I'm going to, I told them, I said, well, and you know what? They sent me a list and said, here. So I got train doors, the gray sliding doors, because I thought maybe I'd use those, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, honestly, though, I mean, like wheels.
Yeah, I didn't have any wheels, and I needed to know what they had and all that kind of stuff. So, of course, I went and looked at some of my favorite classic space sets with the mobile rocket launcher set with the wheels that go up and down. Just ported that in. Mark came up with the design for the stickers that went on the symbol, because he and I were talking. I'm like, I want it to look like a Justice Sheriff sticker, but let's put the swoosh around it, right? That's the first time the swoosh has been used around something since the mid 80s, late or early 90s. We were the first one to bring it back. And so we put the swoosh around the star for the Star Justice guys, and he put the skull things. We made the controls and everything. And so I built all these. Let me see if I may still have some. Hang on, some concepts here. If you don't mind me sharing those.
Not at all.
Okay. Let me share this screen here. You know, I'm good at the internets, right?
The best.
There it is. It's on this website Flickr, so don't be alarmed.
Never heard of it.
All right. So this is some of the artwork and the cover art and all that kind of stuff. So like here, this picture here, this is me submitting a model and things are not connecting, or the parts that are available in our thing are not available here. This was supposed to fit in here. The helmets didn't work on the dudes, all this kind of stuff. So that one in general made it into the set. That was the base I came up with. I made a big base, right? The part that made it was the half to the right. This little machinery part here, and the one base right there with a little jail cell, which that had to change because of parts. That only a third of that actually made it into the set. So, but yeah, see, I had all these cool chairs. These pictures are small, but there's the front of it, right? It's going to have these windows here so they could see out. It was like a patrol thing. That was the concept for the base. I had to redesign and everything. And so they basically just cut it out to be one of those little towers and the small one at that. I made a mech to go in it with the parts that we had. Wasn't the best. This was the robots, what they were supposed to look like, but we couldn't use the robot bodies, so they came out looking kind of weird. That's the ship that made it in there.
Yeah, it is. Look at that.
I love that little ship. It came out well. That was one I made just as a concept. It wasn't going to make it in there. That was the big one that was supposed to go in there.
Pretty sharp.
The wings were supposed to go up and down. See, the hoses are laying there because they were supposed to connect, but LDD didn't know how to do it. And then so I had to make this rover instead. Mark actually had to help me design a little bit on that, because I was actually at that point just like, I don't care. I didn't want to do a rover and everything. So, but anyway,
It's legit too now. I like it.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
I
And the
like
big
it.
blaster guns there and all this kind of stuff. But there is this is the concept pictures we took to send them, actually, and that's Mark's, and he has made it out pretty well. This is, the skull thing with all the squiggly arms that Butt Chop likes, and cool stuff. And we were like, let's put the two big ships in together and make it one set, and they said no. And then, or even the two small ships, make it in. By the way, that hose that I added there didn't make it into the set. And the wings, I lost those curvy pieces on the wings of my spaceship. I had to replace those. So it lost some of its swoopiness. Actually, I think I had that ship in there. It was hard to build them because we were really limited. There's the mech that I made to go in the set. They said Exoforce was out. They didn't want it to compete with the business.
Geez.
But I'm like, dude, I like the mech. Let the mech stay in there. And there's the big ship right there, physically made. That's not bad.
Where's the big ship now?
In my drawers. So after they said to make more stuff, and I made the base and put it in the background and all that kind of stuff, we added all that together, and then they cut it all. We gave all these concepts and everything. I think I'd made that base early, but mainly I wanted it to be ships, right? So Photoshop that in the back. This is all stuff we sent to them. We took these pictures in Mark's basement, actually, because we did some collabs. And I actually had physical builds of some of these things. I really wanted that little mech to be in there. I wasn't good at mechs, but anyway, I made this little do what?
I said you was good at. Well, I didn't see this ship. Where's this one at?
That was another one I just made with some of the parts.
I like that one.
To add in and all this kind of stuff. Let me go back to the album here. So, of course, we get no, you can't make that. Let me tell you the part that I lost on the big ship that I had to kill it. You see those big, long white pieces on the wings there?
Yeah.
That are in sets today. They said, those are not available anymore. So,
wow. How dare they?
For real, right? So let's go back out here. So we were making the set. We're doing all this kind of stuff. That one still, I like the way that one came out. We did have some redesign and everything, but I lost the curve on the wings because they'd swapped that out, and they did some things different. Lost the hoses and all that kind of stuff. So things were different. Let me go back up. Here's Mark's design of the sticker sheets.
Ooh.
They got kind of downgraded a little bit. But anyway, they came out pretty good. If you ever see the figure, the one with my sig fig face on it should have the gold star on him. And there's the swoosh. We brought it back. And there's the evil sticker there. Well, the cool thing is each sticker, the good guy stickers are targeting the evil spaceship.
Yeah.
And the bad guy sticker is targeting the good guy spaceship. So
nice.
We did good. And there's some sort of Nintendo thing that Mark kind of mimicked with his little mushroom looking thing. And this is something from a different concept that they asked us to make and everything. So this was another design I tried to do, but they wanted a base. So we made that base, and then they made that base super T90. And you can see, let's see if I got a close up. The robots as they were made. I don't know if I can. Yeah. You see the robots there. They're using two 1x2 plates with the bar on it, the old style. Two of those stacked together as the gut. So they went from these little cool little svelte robots to robots that you couldn't put the arms all the way down. Thank you very much. But there's the sticker. There's a sticker sheet as we got it. This was from the Star Justice set, and those small controls to the top right, they actually fit inside a 1x2 panel that a lot of times you use to make a cockpit for a spaceship. Just because I thought that would be cool to have controls there. they were made so tiny that you really don't notice them. So this process was, everybody's like, I want to make a set. I get it. And I'm happy to make the set. But honestly, Mark and I were so frustrated after this came out. We were like, yeah, they want us to talk about it, and we're proud of it and everything.
Right.
But it was hard knowing what could have been. To take these models and then have a designer work with us to improve them would have been great. I'm going to take this off the screen. But we just didn't get that. And unfortunately, we then had we just had what came out. And then Lego told us what they were going to charge for it. And for the 800 pieces, the 700 pieces with tons of part repeats, all this kind of stuff, not paying a designer a thing to design the set. They charged $99 a pop for those in 2007, 2008, and they had had 800, 700 pieces in them.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it was all brick kind of stuff going on and everything, but dude, we were like, you're charging what? You're never going to sell these. If you would have made it a small, that's what we kept saying. If you'd have made a small entry point set and a bigger set, we would have cut some things down just to make it good for the kids to buy, for the fans to buy. Nobody's wanting to plunk down $200 for sets that they've never seen. It's just some guys that they kind of know,
right,
and or kind of heard of, so they can brag. And honestly, they didn't sell that well. In fact, when I started watching Your Forever Sorting with Kevin Hinkle, he showed him working some of his first days at the store, and on sale were the for marked down 25% with Star Justice and all that kind of stuff. But then my friend said when they went to 25 and 50% off, dude, we love those sets. They bought a ton of them, that kind of stuff, because they were great part packs, because that was a goal. Cheese floats had just come out, cheese wedges, 1x1s. And I wanted to put light gray in there. They were not available. So I had to use a dark gray rock piece and put dark gray or dark blay slopes in there. And which was fine. People appreciated having all those parts available, especially when they got them for 75% off. But anyway, and so even the marketing, they didn't know how to market it. And we were like, hey, so if we do these sets, then you've got Lego Digital Designer. Why don't we make plans available for kids to download and they can build some more? No, I don't think we want to do this. I think we want to all this kind of stuff. I'm like, but you could get an entry point and the kids you could advertise it through the web. No, I don't think we want to do that and all that kind of stuff. And we were kind of more than disappointed in it and everything. Just, it was not language I want to use, but half done. And in some levels, there were folks who were excited about it. There were some, and I want to know, when I got my copies of the set, we were also awarded one more pull of the entire Lego catalog.
Oh.
And the worst part about that was, because by the time Mark was like, whatever you pick, I'll take. I don't care anymore. He was tired. We were tired. So I just did the K8 order, and I said, he wants that too. Unfortunately, I got these super huge tires because I wanted to build this super huge Rover. Since I'm like, all right. And I bought the wrong size hub, and I
oh, jeez.
Hell. So I got these big tires in the bin over there, but and no hubs to go with them. But anyway, we were both tired, and by that time, there was a lot getting us down and a lot getting us out of the Lego excitement. ClassicSpace.com kind of just handed it over. I mean, one of the things that got me out of ClassicSpace.com is we were trying to go, okay, we want to be 100% Lego. Well, that's just because you work for Lego. I don't work for Lego. It's just the thing that we do. And there was a really popular builder. He was a nice guy. He passed away shortly after all this. His name was Nin. He's actually been honored by some fans in some sets. So he's a great creative guy. But he taped and cut and stuff like that. And so we're like, but we don't do this here. The challenge is this. I mean, you can't take that stuff to Brick Fair and expect it to be displayed. They will say no. So we were accused of being elitist and all my motives being questioned. And so I'm out on that. I'm out on my community. the highlight of my life of doing Lego has been a bit of a disappointment. And so the end of 2007 or 8, I'm not building well. I'm not doing well. Lego is supposed to be the thing that gives me relaxation, and it's not. But then time heals all wounds. You build, and then your son wants to start building. And by that time, he's getting that age. And 2010, I start to pick it back up.
Yeah.
And I made my way back to Virginia. 2011, I believe it was. I missed 2012, but I got to reconnect with some of my old buddies, and that was great. And then in 2013, I went to Brick Fair, Virginia. Tyler Kleitz rode up with me. In fact, he and I did 2 of those, I believe. That road trip, I'm glad he was packing heat. You know what I'm saying? Because we had to stay at a hotel halfway to Virginia, and he could have shot them bed bugs. I'm just saying. Anyway, so I'm rekindling my passion for the brick.
Good.
And I'm enjoying it. And but while I'm driving up there, I'm physically hurting. 2013. I've been noticing it for a while, 2013, and we get up there, and you walk a lot at a fest.
Sure.
You around a lot. You have to sit on the floor, and I've got pain in an area that hurts the gentleman folk like me and you a lot more, than people understand. And all of a sudden, I don't have the energy I'm supposed to have. I'm taking 3 Tylenol every couple of hours to manage this pain, and I got to ride home. And I was texting a friend, Tom, that says, dude, if I don't go to the doctor by September, you got the permission to call my wife and everything. And it ends up in August, September of 2013, I hear the words, "You've got cancer."
Oh.
So another kick in, I'm trying to get back into it. But you know what? In my system of belief, everything has a purpose. And in my system of belief, nothing catches the one I serve by surprise. So I just had to trust him. And we're getting close to time now, but the brick was part of me surviving. And the Lego community was big my community at my church, my community around me, my family, and my faith were crucial. Awesome doctors, all this kind of stuff. But there is some recuperative power in building with the brick. And honestly, through all that, got me back into focus of where it's supposed to be. Not trying to be this big dog in the community, not trying to please the president of Lego, not trying to gain some sort of respect or whatever in the community. It's for me to enjoy, and it's for me to grow with, and it's for me to share with those who care about it and everything like that. So, and we can get into that next week, because that'll be the closing chapter on the story. But if you know somebody who, and I'll be honest with this, going through what I went through, and I'll tell a little bit about it. It's testicular cancer. It used to be 95% fatal, 95 to 99% fatal. If you ever watched the movie Brian's Song from back in the 70s, that's what that dude, he and I died of the same thing. You remember Lance Armstrong had the same cancer? Well, he and I had the same cancer, and he and I had the same Tour de France number of wins. So that, we're good there, right? So, but now it's 95% curable. In my lifetime, the cure came about. So when bad things happen, you've got to just have faith, and you got to move on. And if you're not the one going through that, you need to bless somebody else who is. And there are a lot of people who I ministered to having cancer before I had it. And there's a lot of those folks I need to go back and apologize. I had no idea what they were going through. So, but I'll tell more about that, about some awesome guys from around, guys and girls ladies in the community who are extreme blessing to me during that really, really bad year. and it was a victory lap to make it back to Brick Fair, Virginia in 2014. And we'll talk about that and then beyond next week. So,
all right.
I don't want to leave it on a downer. So,
no. I mean, we know how it turned out. It seemed to be okay.
Yeah, seemed to be okay. Seemed to be, but yeah, you don't get trained for hearing those words. You don't get trained for having to tell your family about those words. You don't get trained to sit your 7 or 8 year old son down and say, let me tell you what's going on with Dad. I need Star Wars to tell him. I'll tell you that story later. And it was hilarious. Yeah. And in some ways, my life is a whole lot better because of it in a lot of ways too. So if you ever feel humbled, don't feel like the world is taking it out on you. Use it as a moment to realize you ain't all that in a bag of chips, and you need to look for ways to improve yourself or be improved by something outside of yourself. And it helps you learn dependence, because I have a hard time with that. I can do it all myself. No, you can't. You need your family. You need something to believe in. You need a community also to help you. And honestly, the community that I had then, and I still have now, and the brick and the hobby were big instrumental in pulling me out of the funk. I had a funk when my mom passed away, and a big funk when I had all of a sudden somebody says, yeah, you got cancer. We need to do surgery on you tomorrow. So, but anyway,
right on.
You'll also understand why I always buy Uniball pens. I'm just going to ahead and say that. I'm going to say it right now. The only brand I buy now is Uniball. So you'll understand what that means.
Nice. That was wonderful, Chris. I really enjoyed this episode, man.
Yeah, man. But I will say, all through all this stuff, and I'm learning, I've got new community, learning YouTube community with friendship with you and with others, is awesome, because, even coming back and stuff like that, all of a sudden I'm looking, where is everybody? I've been kind of out of the community. I've been doing the bricks. Where is everybody? But finding folks like you guys and hooking back up and realizing, okay, if you want to connect with folks, YouTube may be where it's at. I will not go to TikTok. I will go to not going, but I'm not doing the TikTok, but
I'm not doing the TikTok.
No, but you got to go where the kids are, man. And I have been blessed by a bunch of new fans of the brick that I'm learning from and all this kind of stuff. So it's great. I mean, it's absolutely great. And I'm enjoying approaching it from, I'm doing this because I love it, not because I'm trying to prove anything or trying to improve anybody else. I just want to be a part of the community and be a good part of the community. And if I do help somebody out, super great, Anyway.
We're glad to have you in our little tiny corner of the world now.
No, I like it. And the cool thing is, and Kevin, and we even talked about that, is all of a sudden dragging Mark back into it. And, there were guys that are the old guys being drugged back into it. One of them was asking me, so how do you do your little videos and what program? And that's just where we are. It can be the new Flickr, right? So.
There you go.
So anyway,
good spot right here. You think it's a good spot right here?
I think it's a good spot right here. I've depressed everybody. So
no, everybody's fine.
This is the end of the Empire Strikes Back. Han Solo is gone, and Luke's hugging up on his sister again because that's weird, and looking out over the galaxy. And so we'll find out what's going on next time.
Right. So I guess from all of us here at Forever Sorting, remember, you gotta love those bricks.
Bricks.
You gotta love those old gray bricks.
That's right. Those old